So first thing first, let me welcome you here, sir. Thank you very much for being here and taking us through this session on branding, which is a most crucial and important part into a marketing landscape, right? And I have been talking to most of the businesses, mainly to the startups and the small businesses. They all have got one common problem when they tell me that, man, I am trying to compete into the market, but still people do not know me, and that's the reason I am not able to charge them the real premium. Nevertheless, I really give the better service, best product, but I'm not able to upscale it up, right? So it is one of a common problem which everybody is facing. And the other biggest problem is, even the people have started doing something, maybe in terms of getting online, doing some initiative like making a website, having a blog, or being on a social media platforms, but still somewhere they're not able to create that buzz in the market about their own brand. And I feel the most important thing is people are getting confused between three terms which are most important. One is what is marketing, what is branding, and what is advertising, right? So I was thinking if we can really today take us through that major differentiation, what are these three terms and how they are going to impact our journey of startup, and how we can leverage it for a betterment of the company.
Thank you, Jayant, for that wonderful questions. The question is as big as the seminar, but I still picked up picked up one or two goals. So I will address on those. Yes, obviously, what's marketing, what's advertising, what's branding, and then we will get into branding. Can you allow me to host? I'm not able to share the presentation.
Just a second. Very well, fantastic. Go ahead,
Fantastic.
say.
So what's the slide? First slide showing?
Yeah, so you can go in a slide show mode so that it will be good for people to look at it.
Yeah.
Very well.
So are you reading the slide? Can small companies build brands like bigger companies?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Wonderful. So I'll start off with a small introduction about me.
All right.
I share a small brief about me so that you are confident what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm Dharmesh. I'm an independent brand consultant and a business coach. I have over 30 years of experience and exposures in marketing, especially with multinationals. I've worked with Nestle India and Nestle Dubai. And I've also worked with a couple of advertising companies. My experience has been with bigger brands like the Nescafe, Maggi, Milo, Kit Kat, and more. And over the past few years, I've been coaching small business owners, wherein I've employed and I've used most of the strategies of the bigger companies, which has helped them mostly to double the turnover. Now, I mean the word doubling the turnover. So that is what the confidence that has given me to go in for this presentation as well. Yes, there's a lot of mystery, there's a lot of mystery that bigger brands are big brands. They use magnetic principles. They use magical tools. But the fact of the matter is, I haven't come across even one till date. So today we are going to unwrap the tactics the bigger companies, the bigger brands have been using and has been using. Yeah, I'll start off with what's marketing, because there's a lot of confusion about marketing. So I'll start off with what's marketing. So basically, marketing is a very simple thing. Don't get confused because there are n number of definitions on the internet. But it's basically an art and a science of finding a need. Finding a need is where the marketing begins, and satisfying that need is marketing. Now, in doing so, what happens is there's research involved. You need to execute the concept. You do not know in what form the customer wants your product. Is it in the core form, or is it in the basic form, or is it in the augmented form? A basic form would be an ordinary mobile with just calling facilities. An augmented phone would be something comes with a warranty, something comes with camera tools and such and such. So in what form the customer wants it. So the entire process all then becomes part of marketing. In India, marketing is exchanged between sales and advertising. Sometimes I say it is branding. Advertising is part of marketing. Be very clear about it. Branding is part of marketing. See, that's basically why this the interpretation is being used wrongly is because of the English language itself. I would not blame the users. In English language, if you look at it, there are lots of words like the rug and the carpet. What's the big difference? Yeah, between marketing and advertising, there is some amount of difference. What's the difference between a seat and a chair? And similarly, there are a lot of words. So, since it's not our mother tongue, we use it lavishly in our own convenience. But marketing is all this. It's a need and a sign. It's a need, finding a need, uncovering the need, and satisfying the need. And in the process, the execution of it, the pricing, promotion, distribution, all this forms part of marketing. It's a 360-degree perspective. Now we'll add what's advertising.
Mm-hmm.
Advertising is just literally letting your target audience know about your product or your brand. That's all, nothing more than that.
Mm-hmm.
In the process, whatever the description that is involved, it's part of marketing. There are lots of product that sells even without advertising. So that differentiates what is marketing and advertising. Advertising is just a part of the market. A marketing guy can decide whether you need advertising for this product or you don't need advertising, because sometimes it can sell virtually by its presence in some online stores.
All right.
And now we're going to get into branding. Branding is exactly what is there in the customer's mind.
How customer perceive your brand, actually. I mean, yeah, perceive the
Yeah.
company, product.
Our customer perceives what is there in the customer's mind. Simple layman's language. And what is there in the customer's mind is by virtue of the branding. So branding is an act of differentiating your product. The differentiation of your product could be against your competition or against your own self or against the requirement of the customer. That's all. It doesn't ought to be against competition alone. So in the process of doing that, there is an impression that gets formed in the customer's mind. And why I said what is in the customer's mind is, you could have positioned your brand as a lifestyle brand. What is it? You may be saying, hey, my brand is a lifestyle brand. But to
Correct.
the customer, a majority of the customer, they may be thinking it's a casual brand. What is this guy talking lifestyle? I feel it's a casual brand.
True.
So in the process, the brand is exactly as envisaged by the customer. That's it.
Correct.
What is the customer thinking? It's a casual brand. So the brand now is exactly as envisaged as by the customer. Maybe some errors in your marketing communication, which is what is created the discrepancy. So it takes a couple of years sometimes to get your exact message exactly to the customer.
Mm-hmm.
So branding is an act of differentiation. It came because if you look at it, every second there are hundreds of advertisements that's being bombarded, and people are taking a natural defense against this. And in the process of getting the brand to the customer, the only way is to find out what is there in the mind of the existing customer and align your brand to that requirement. That's it. I'm not getting much into it, but that's it.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You got it well.
Now, this slide will exactly tell you this is what happens when you do zero branding. See, even without branding yourself, customer has started carrying an image about yourself. You've not done any branding, and then customer will form his own opinion. So it's better you start your branding so that at least customer is able to get some message and starts forming some opinion about you, and finally the ultimate opinion, what you want him to form or what you want him to have. And when you start branding, this is what happens. Slowly the egg becomes gold. It could be an 18 carat or a 22 carat. Got it, no? It could be an
Absolutely.
18 karat purity or a 22 karat. That's it. So that ends
But
the.
no, as you have really given a great differentiation between advertising, marketing, and branding. Now, I was just having one question on my mind right now. Look, you said like, what is that customer is pursuing about your brand? I feel my brand is amazing brand. I'm doing great service to the people, to the community. Let's say I tell my about my program. So I feel that I am teaching people digital marketing, which is live classes I do, and I take the responsibility of changing people's life. On the other side, I feel this is what I'm thinking about, but I trust me, I do not know whether people look at me in the similar way or not.
Wonderful question, Jayant, and very vital question, very foundation question. Yes, the good thing is, you have started positioning yourself. Now, check it out among your own friends. What do they talk about your brands?
Well,
Among your own neighbors.
friends do not give me the real picture.
Yeah, no, no, they may just ask them, what do you feel? What do you feel? What do you test and measure? Got it? No, a big company they do employee surveys to
Yeah,
find out. They do lots of surveys. Yeah, blind tests. They do a lot of blind tests. So
correct,
top of the mind recall to find out what is still how still my brand is perceived.
correct,
That is what makes them big. And then finally they realize they have not achieved what they wanted to be conveyed, and they keep increasing the advertising platform. But for
absolutely.
small brands, the best way to find out, the best thing is to do whatever possible from your side. Yeah, obviously, if you put one plus one, the answer is two. So first you put that one, and then you put your another one, and then check with known people. What do you think? Just take some clues. They will talk about it. Yeah, they will talk about it. And on the face of it, if you say you are a brilliant one, then you got it almost. Yes. So it is possible even for a smaller brand. There's something called the test and measure.
Correct.
And we need to test that daily basis and not just test it, measure it. You do a campaign and then test it. Oh,
Absolutely.
okay. So many people are saying, or two people are saying good, two people are saying, sometimes from their opinion, it should come spontaneously. A prepared speech is, there's a lot of things that's hidden behind it. Something which comes spontaneously, you can get the clues from his body
Absolutely.
language. Is he saying the truth or not?
Super.
That's
So
enough for a
now,
smaller brand. But
absolutely.
first, do one plus one.
All right. Good. Great one. As I said, now here comes another question to you is I'm small. I'm a startup. Like I just started my this whole enterprise when COVID started, and that is how I realized, man, I have to go into the marketing and advertising and some branding. Now I'm really very much thinking that I have to really spend time and an effort in doing my branding, right? So how do I start? If you can give me some inroad or starting point to start thinking about it and taking my first step towards that branding portion of it.
Yeah. In your case, you already started, but
Okay.
yes, yeah, that's a mystery. In your case, you already started, and I see some amount of reasonable good principles. Yes, there is a general, yeah, as we always keep saying, and there's a fear, yeah, bigger brands are bigger brands. Especially, I'm talking in terms of the product case scenario.
Hmm.
Especially when your brand in question is a product, there is always this feeling. So today I'm going to unwrap what the big brand do.
Okay.
Yeah, in the process allow the small business owners to know that you can also do the same thing.
All right.
I'm going to demystify the bigger brand itself. I'm going to dismantle the bigger brands today.
Great one, sir.
Yeah,
Great.
and then one more point. Yes, since this is only a webinar and branding is more an abstract subject, we can't go into details. But I still present you what all you can do soon after the presentation is over.
Great one.
I'm not saying you need to wait and all that. No, no. Soon after the presentation is over, you can start working on this.
All
Shall
right.
I?
Yeah, absolutely. Please,
Th-
please.
Thank you. So again, coming back to products are made in the factory, brands are made in the customer's mind.
Well said.
Look at some of the products shown here: the Audi car, Canon digital camera, Royal Enfield, Rolex wristwatch. Now, what is common? What do you think is common between the products on the screen? If possible, you can type it on the chat if time permits. But just think for yourself. What is common?
They're big
They
brands.
all carry a big brand image. They carry branding. They carry trust. They carry identity, quality, loyalty. Anyone would go, provided I have the money, and to pick up a Rolex watch or an Audi car. I wouldn't even think twice. I'm not going to ask the guy, hey, how much mileage it gives. Because I know what an Audi car stands for. It doesn't stand for mileage. I know what a Rolex watch stands for. It's not for timekeeping. Does Rolex keeps better time than an HMT? No, it keeps the same time. Am
Absolutely.
I right? So
Absolutely.
brands are built not alone by quality. We'll come back to that, but I'm just giving you an insight. So can small companies build brands like bigger companies? And my answer is yes. So today we're going to discuss about the basic brand building principles, basic brand marketing tools, arsenals. And what do big brands have that small brands don't? I'm going to unwrap it. And what do big brands use? Let's see, what do they use? Once you know what they use, then you will realize the folly of it. And what big brands think about? What do they think about? There's something magnetic, something mystical. Come on, let's see that. I want to see what is that magic. And what do the big brands believe? Simple things. And I'm reiterating my stand. You can start implementing or start thinking about it soon after the presentation is over. And I'm going. So these are the basic brand building principles.
Okay.
Basic. I maybe one or two I must have missed it out. Pardon me for that. Don't worry about it. This is more than enough.
All right.
I'm not going to hit because I don't have time. I'm rushing.
Yeah.
Brand name, logo, brand positioning statement, brand identity. I'll elaborate a bit on brand positioning, perhaps on packaging and more. Yes. Then what are the marketing tools that you have to build the brand? Marketing tools are to build the brand. Once you have the principles, then you need to communicate, isn't it? That's where the marketing arsenals are. Public relations, e-marketing, online, radio, direct mail, all simple. I mean, known to every second person on this earth, on the planet, especially the business owners. Nothing great about it, nothing official about it.
Absolutely.
Then, what do big brands have that small don't have? This is where the irony is. Big budgets, big access, big star. What do I mean by big access? They can contact any celebrity and get the brand endorsed. For a small guy, but with all that, I'm saying, with all the advantages in their favor, small brands can make use of the big brand strategies, the big brand techniques, and big brand tactics. That's what I'm going to explore now. You get my point? Just
Yeah.
going back again, these are the foundation slides for the entire presentation. Basic brand building principles and basic brand marketing arsenals, nothing more.
Mm-hmm.
Now let me go to the next one. What do big brands use?
Right. Yes.
Don't they use the brand name? Don't they use the logo? Don't they use the positioning? They use brand identity, packaging, branding, brand marketing, and more. Small brands can too. Come on. Don't tell me you will launch a brand without a brand name, without a logo. I mean, some people don't use the logo, but at least packaging. We will improvise. If you start off at least with the brand name, we'll improvise on the rest of the area. And big brands think about what? The same thing, the awareness. Personality. Personality is nothing but the human element in a brand.
Mm-hmm.
See, there are various types of personality: rugged personality, dominant personality, influential personality. Some people are pretty good at influencing. Some people are, innocent personality. N number of personalities. So by positioning the brand against the personality, they are able to align and get that portion of the customer. That's what brand preference is nothing but the attribute. Why they come to you and buy, because of the special attribute that you carry in the brand.
Correct.
That's what the brand preference is all about. Now coming to yes, I know. Yeah, brand love. See, brand love. Believe it or not, they believe in brand love.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, what they want a customer from is that they want the feeling that the customer loves the brand and they love it so much that they will keep purchasing, and not only keep purchasing but will also keep recommending to the friends.
Mm-hmm.
Small brands need to think on these lines too.
Absolutely.
Get the point? Now let's look at the next slide. What do they believe? They believe people think about brands and people feel about brands. What is thinking about brands? The rational aspects of it.
Mm-hmm.
What appeals to your mind? What appeals to your brain? What appeals to your head? Is the brand economical? Is the brand reliable? These are all the rational elements in it. And the emotional element is the heart and the soul. And that's why sometimes, they hire celebrities. I'm not going to buy a brand just because it's endorsed by Aishwarya Rai or Hrithik Roshan. I would obviously, while choosing the brand because of Hrithik Roshan or Aishwarya Rai, I will also look at the brand from the rational aspect.
Mm-hmm.
You get the point?
Yeah.
Yeah, the rational aspect is about savings and such and such. Yeah, Aishwarya Rai is there, but does it also give me savings? Yes, it does. And so I would rather go pick that. But for Aishwarya Rai, I would not even have thought of that brand, which is already giving me a saving. So that's the emotional connect. Now, having covered basic brand building principles, basic marketing arsenals, and what big brands do and what big brands have. Now, the next thing is, where do you start?
Absolutely. Yeah. This is a really very crucial stuff.
Where do you start? Just before that, a slide. You look at Apple, Google, Coca-Cola. They're all simple, straightforward. They get the message across through the web, TV, Facebook. So where do you start? See, first thing a small brand needs to have, you need to know your target audience. It's a good question, where do you start? And you need to know your target audience. Walk down to any cosmetic showroom and you will realize by the sheer packaging of it, you know, where is the brand, who the brand is addressing. Is it the female, or is it universal, or is it both the male and the female? That's what is target audience all about. Or is it the white collar, or is it the blue collar, or is it the kids? So you need to have that clear. It's who's going to come and buy my product. Write it down, script it down. Next is the competition.
Mm-hmm.
Simple idea about competition. With the competition, why competition? If the competition is using red for the brand packaging, you don't go and use red. Go and use blue or some other colors. And that's exactly what is positioning against the competition. You get the point. You look at the brand, mineral water in the market. There are lots of Me Too brand. Hey, they are blue, I am also blue. Finished. So why should I then come to you and buy?
Mhm.
Create your brand positioning. Brand positioning is nothing but a statement. I will come on the brand positioning a little after. It is what you do in the mind of the customer, nothing about the product. Product remains the same. Bisurly, what does it communicate? Reliability. It's the same mineral water. So where do you start? First, you need to get these basics in place. Very,
Mhm.
very clear. And once you get that, and where do you go? Same thing. Create your brand name, create your brand positioning, create your elevator pitch. I don't think it needs elaboration. Bring your market to the brand and market your brand. So let me, address each of these elements a little in depth. So
Mhm.
basic brand principles of building a brand is what you're getting to. The foundation slide,
Mhm.
brand name. So let's see what's in a brand name. Yes, I've seen fortunately, all the small brands do have a name. Is it memorable? Yes, some of them are memorable, some of them are meaningful, some of them are unique, no doubts about it. Yes.
But sir, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I've got a question here. I'm getting a question actually. Can I?
Yeah, please.
Most of the people, they are getting confused. They have got a company name, and they also want the company name to be their brand name. So what would be your suggestion to them? Should they keep a separate brand name, or the company name can be branded as a brand?
Brilliant question. This is level two.
Okay. Okay.
See, to put it very simply, customer is not bothered whether it's a company or a brand name. Ultimately, for a customer, it is a brand.
Hmm.
You got it. Ultimately, what the customer we can choose is just that. Yes, you can use a company name. If the brand fails, then the entire company is demolished.
Correct. Correct.
Got it, no? That's why most of the bigger brands, they technically did not put, Unilever does not put Unilever, P&G does not have P&G brand name because they want the company to be safe. But generally, for a customer, he's not bothered about whether it's a corporate brand, whether it's a master brand, whether it's a sub brand. For him, it's a consumer brand. Be very clear about it. You can do whatever you want. If you're very confident, go for the company brand. Why take the risk? When you see a risk, avoid the risk. There are lots of brands, but they do not know the company names. Lots of
Yeah,
big brands.
if I look at one of example on the technology side, I could look at Infosys as a brand. But if I look at the product side, I could say Finacle, an amazing product. So Finacle has got a different name altogether to itself,
Got it?
which is they are
Yes.
branding it up.
Lots of consumer brands. People do not know the company. Company is somewhere in some part of the world, man. And if it is a multi-product company, a multi-brand company, you can't have the same brand on everybody. It's like naming all your children under the same brand, same name.
Yeah,
Yeah, and people do that. Yeah, my first son is Raman, and second son also would it be Raman?
Ramin 2,
Can't be.
Ramin
It
3,
has to be a
Ramin 4.
different name. But when it comes to company, no. No, they'll put the same for the oil and they'll put the same for the ghee. These are all naming tactics. Now on the brand name, yes, yeah. I did a research of, I'm going to put some time onto this. I did a research of over 100 brands of the small companies. Some of them says Buena Milk, some of them says SLV Contractors. Most of them are all common names. Ayappa Supermarket, Ayappa Coaching Institute. Hey, you're limiting yourself. The moment you put Ayappa Coaching Institute, the other guy is going to say Ganesha Coaching Institute. Or somebody will say Ayappa Swami Coaching Institute. You get the point. So that uniqueness is lost. By virtue of sheer uniqueness, you can get at least 50% of the game won. And then they use the alphabets. Using an alphabet is like killing a brand right on birth. They use SLV and then somebody will use SLL. Let's imagine a classroom. There are 30 guys, 30 children, and each one's name is an alphabet. SLL, VSL. Imagine the teacher will go mad. Is it possible to recall? It's not, and so is for a consumer. He doesn't have time. Imagine after 1 year he wants to recommend your brand to somebody. Hey, there is this brand, SL, I don't know. You Google and find out. It's somewhere near Hebali or Ekam. Yeah, there are exceptions to the rule. Even those exceptions are going to kill themselves, could be challenged. BMW, if there's another car which comes as, MMW finished.
Yeah.
Chinese could come and confuse the market saying that, MMW, LNW, I'm finished. Then you don't know what is BMW. Yeah, I mean, you can use alphabet. Those are big companies who's got the muscle and you can sustain and you can fight forward to it. And you can even patent the brand.
Correct.
And then there's a huge exercise. Do you want to spend that kind of money for smaller companies? So that's why I'm sure when I put the brand name into context, most of them must be wondering, hey, what is this Dharmesh talking about brand name to me, about branding? Hey, come on, everybody knows about it. Branding is 50% of the game won in your arena, in your category, especially if it's a product brand. By sure, let me just show you something. GRB, it's a famous ghee. I mean, it's the wrong brand name. Why they are famous is another chapter to discuss. So as much as possible, people use pronouns and nouns nowadays for brands. I drive a Mercedes. Conspicuous by consumption, those brands which are conspicuous by consumption, they don't say I carry a pen, I say I carry a, that, I carry a cross, I carry a Mont Blanc, So there's a lot for smaller brand to think about this. And I found it, and bigger brands are enjoying it. The more you come out with alliterations and the alphabet, the bigger brands are enjoying it. Yeah. They're fooling you. They're not even telling you what you should do. Next, moving to paper boat, a brand which meets memorable, meaningful, unique. What is paper boat? Obviously, the current generation children would not have seen a paper boat, but we as elderlies, it was part of a toy. And what did the brand do? They named it for a beverage. Again, it syncs with the beverage context. Yeah, and what did they do again in the distribution point? They placed it to the airline passengers initially. Why? Because airline passengers are kind of above 40, 45. Obviously, children also, but not much. Most of the guys who started earning money, and when they see this brand, they resonate.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You got it. Paper board, hey, I saw, hey, come on. And today that's a 1,000 crore company. To tell you, they don't spend even 1 rupee on advertising. There's not a billboard that you can spot on paper board. There's not a paper campaign you can spot. Just by sheer brand name, they have. Can small brands use them too? Answer is left to the entrepreneurs. Red Bull. What is the bull says? I have not seen a Red Bull. I've seen obviously black and the white, but I've not seen it. They took the name. Bull stands for energy. And red is, when you get the energy, there's a lot of blood running in you. See the thought process. And does it require magical thought? Simply. I'm done with this slide. I'm moving on to the next one. We don't have time. Brand logo. I'm not going to waste much time. Yeah, it has to comply with the strong graphics, distinctive design. If the competition is used blue, use another color. Don't use the same color. Don't use alphabets as much as possible. Give it some color code, like the Kingfisher, the Virgin. They're all good brand names. N number of good brand names which you can go copy once you know the concepts. It's there all in the internet.
Mhm.
Jaguar, forget it. Don't worry about all that now. Brand slogan. Oh, brand slogan has to be few words, memorable phrase. Now, it's a very, very important aspect of branding. And all the big brands consistently use this. And you look among the small brands, it's sometimes it is there in some corner. It's there in some corner. To give you, to run on the point, there are some brands, bigger brand, which is almost on the verge of collapse, which is almost shut down, but they got a lease of life just by changing the slogan. What is that? Just by changing the slogan.
Mhm.
Pepsi is an excellent example of that. They were not able to muscle against the Coke, and finally they got a slogan which saying the challenge of the new generation. You know, about 20 years back that was rhyming. And then Pepsi started picking up. Because Coke has invariably killed almost every second brand in the world.
Absolutely.
And Pepsi was the only one successful brand, and they were successful because of the brand slogan. Look at the brand name Pepsi. Can you imitate that name by any way? It stands separately, isn't it? And then they've given a meaning to the name. They use the logo, they use the graphic, they use the slogans vividly. And that is what has made them what they are today. Taste of India, Amul, even Amul was struggling.
Correct.
Good, there was lots of government support, so they were able to kind of sustain. Don't leave home without a visa. That's the thing. Huge magical thinking. Dil mange more. Pepsi says emotional attachment. Forget the product is all the same. It's an emotional concept. The rational is yes. Yeah, obviously, it's a brown beverage. Chanda matlab Coca-Cola. Slogan. Get your slogan. See, my experience on this is for a small brand, you know, the slogan ought to be, let's say there's a billboard and your slogan should be bigger than your brand name. Keep your slogan, your brand name at 30% and your slogan at 70%. And as the brand starts getting mileage by virtue of the slogan, reduce the slogan size to 50 and the brand name to 50. And then slowly increase it to 60, 70 and get the slogan down. How much does it involve in terms of the cost? Why are you worried, man? Yeah, that guy is using slogan there in the corner. You don't need to use that. Got it. Simple things. So I'm not talking anything magical today. I'm only unwrapping what the bigger brands are doing. But they're doing it consistently. They are using it thoughtfully, which you also can do. Whereas you may need a small advertising agency.
Correct.
Brand position. Ah, yeah. Again, slogan is what sometimes positions a brand. I don't know if I need to really touch on this, but yes, you want a word in the mind of the customer. That's exactly what a brand position is. Honda scooter is what? Reliability. Including the Hero is a good scooter, but it's not communicating a message. The Bullet is what? Ruggedness. So just own a mind. Positioning is what you do to the mind of the prospects. through constant bombarding of your activities sometimes. Yes. Maybe a showroom, all this. There's a lot of way you can do a position, but it's an act, yes, there are quality positioning. Don't worry about all that. And when you do an effective positioning, this is how the brand will be looked upon.
Hmm.
There will be explorer brands, there will be outlaw brands like the Harley Davidson. Hero, there's a hero in everybody, Nike. The what is the other, Adidas? Adidas
Right.
basically gets the brand endorsed by the sports legends. So that's a different market. But irrespective whether you want to be a sport legend or not, you also play a lot of games, isn't it? And there's a hero in everybody. So they are a hero brands. And there are innocent brands. And you can have n number of concepts by yourself. This doesn't have any limitations. You name it and you decide it. And doesn't cost money. Am
Absolutely.
I making sense? Doesn't cost money. It's sometimes it can come, from the passion. Again, thumbs up, bravery, Amul, humor. Just giving you an idea. Don't worry about it now. Tanish, unlike the Joy Alucas, Tanish got a separate imagery, isn't it? Because they position the products on instruments like watch, etc. A watch fully made of gold. And obviously others were also doing it, but they were the first one to pronounce it. And they thought Tanish is then a different brand of gold. White gold. They came out with white gold trends.
Yeah.
It's just nothing but position. Mm. Yeah, once you have a logo, once you have a name, then that's a brand identity. I'm not going to much, it's a noticeable elements, but there is a point that I want to run to you today on the brand identity. Look at this business card. Brand identity runs on business card, letterhead, printed materials, and such and such.
Right.
Look at the business card. It says everything. For smaller companies, a business card is not only a business card, it's also a brochure.
Correct.
It could also be a hoarding. On the contrary, please go and collect some 100 business cards of small brands. Pathetic. It doesn't communicate anything. It doesn't communicate who am I. It doesn't communicate what am I. It doesn't communicate why me. Nothing, man. A brass business card has to talk. Why me? For who am I? And you can do all this through your business card. You don't need jumbo size billboards. Sometimes a good business card can replace 100 billboards, man.
Absolutely. I mean, you have to impact the people's mind. That is what you have to say.
Yes, yes. Am I talking anything magical today? Am I talking anything mystical today? Am I talking anything that you do not know? I am aligning what is there in your mind, positioning. Because if I'm going to teach you something new today, that's going to take years. It'll take at least 1 year to learn something on branding. I am culling out what is there in your cerebrum. So you are able to resonate with me, you are able to interact with me. Yeah, Dharmesh makes sense. Ah, another business card. Package. Big brands. See, what is packaging? If you have time, write it on the chat, but I don't think we have the time. Packaging is what a brand wears. It's a cloth of a brand. It has to be stylish. It has to convey what you're delivering. Let me just say one run home a point again. Where did this? Let's say the products. Yeah, where does the product sit in the supermarket? On the
Shelves.
shelf of your competition. Sometimes it can be next to the market leader. And if only if you carry a brilliant packaging, You will be stealing the sales from marketing from leaders at no cost. But if you just say, oh, he's got that and I'm also a me too, then you end up doing all this exercise. Whereas you only need to have a brilliant packaging. Obviously, the cost is the same. You need to, just by sheer differentiation, packaging has turned around brands which was almost on the verge of closure. I'm going to give you a case study on that. Look at this, the Absolute Vodka. They were fighting against the Russian brands. They fought on every possible line that's possible that they could do. They fought on pricing, they fought on everything. And they were not able to cut through. Finally, what they did was change the packaging.
Mm-hmm.
And this packaging, there's some 50,000 forms of this packaging. And it's received almost 50,000 print free in the newspapers.
Wow.
50,000 coverages in the newspapers. One of I don't have the imagery. One of the imagery looked like, you see the neck of the bottle? That was like a staircase going down and then you go into a pool. I'm just not elaborating any further. You got the message. I hope you got the message. This place is only to send you home the message, nothing more.
Absolutely.
It's another. It's a dip tea. It was fighting against Lipton. See, cleverly, they did not even add the brand name on this. They want the customers to visualize. Because it's a dip tea. Have you seen this dip tea? Where you put in the hot water against the Lipton, that the tag hangs over the cup. And most of the time, the tag falls into the cup and then, there's a mess that's created. So they kind of locked it up. They had brim on the cup.
Mm-hmm.
Packaging cleverness. Imagine if this sits next to Lipton in the supermarket shelves. Lipton will have a hard time because they can't change the packaging so fast because they already got an identity and you will steal the market share, 24 by 7, 365 days. Unless they then compete again on the packaging front. So that's about it. Those are the basic marketing brand building principles. How many did we discuss? About 5, 6 of them.
Yes, please.
Is it difficult?
No, not at all.
Is it all there in your mind? Is it all known to the young entrepreneurs? Is it all known to the young small businessmen? Yes, but they don't care about it. And then they have the company running.
So one question I'm getting from people here is, they say when we should start actually. So right now, if I'm a startup, maybe my couple of years will go into understanding my consumer, understanding my or reinventing my product or service which I'm offering, and there will be a lot of, I mean, back and forth things are going to happen. So when should I start? Once I've got stabilized my business, I started rolling my business into this, then I start working onto the branding aspect, or it has to be starting from day one.
See, for a product brand or any for that matter, it all starts from day one. Because you have to start somewhere. And in business, flexibility is one of the rules of success. And for a small brand, if you're not recognized, doesn't matter if you change your brand name later. Doesn't matter if you change your packaging later, because you're not recognized. If it's already recognized, then you can't change it so easily.
The
So it has to
confidence.
start from day one. You should know from your mind what this is my customer, this is the thing this is the brand name. And if you think it's not working, and that's why you kind of use a kind of seasoned agencies who's got some experience exposures. So you don't make major mistake. And what does it cost? Nothing, nothing, nothing. Instead of writing away the entire company. There
Absolutely.
are experts in every segment, and that's what exactly what I also do. I'm not selling myself today. So a lot of startups do come to me, they're and then we give them, and not that I'm going to be right all the time, but we do test and measure. But if he doesn't know and then he says, I've done it and I can't change it, finished. So you can keep changing, and most of the successful brands are that have evolved over the period of time. So do not hesitate, start from day one, and there's no money involved. Is there any amount extra money involved? You're anyway going to have your name, you're anyway going to have your logo, you're anyway going to have your business card, you're anyway going to have your packaging. I'm talking more in this context of a brand, of a physical product.
Correct.
And so not much difference even with others. Get on the point?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. Great. Thank you.
Very simple. The idea is to simplify. Now let me get, yeah, what I mean marketing listeners is all this put together. Public relations, e-marketing, online, radio, direct, print, television, non-traditional. On the face of it, it doesn't add much value. Let me ask you a question. If you can answer on the chat, nothing like it. What is the language of business?
Language of a business.
Numbers.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, numbers. And number speaks.
So this chart gives you a perspective on the cost towards each of the techniques and tactics. You got it? If you look at the chart, I don't know if it is from the left or right, but from the left to me, the PR is the least cost.
Correct. Correct. So I could see all my digital platforms are the at lowest cost and which can really make a better impact.
You got it, no? Yeah. See, this basically talks about, see, there are two major things that come into play
Hmm.
when you pick up the appropriate tactics to use. That is the cost and how effective they are.
Correct.
Now, when you see the chart, there's a that compares the relative cost of just about all of the tactics that is available. It basically compares the relative cost here in relation to one another.
Correct.
So I would say look at the PR, social media, web blog, email. It's good for a startup. You asked a question, when is this good to start my branding?
Correct.
Have I answered you?
Yeah.
Got it? No? I'm not trying to this doesn't mean this is not meant to be an exact comparison, but it kind of puts the cost into perspective. Let me discuss one by one. So you look at the personal PR and the social media, they are the least cost. And then you have the web and the email. They are also lower in cost. Yeah, you will notice that the tactics gets increasingly more and more effective, more and more expensive, sorry. It need not be effective, since because it is expensive, it need not be effective. So that doesn't mean I'm discouraging you not to use this. You should also use this. There are ways to use all this, even the costly tactics. Now, all depends upon the effectiveness of it. All depends on the effectiveness of a tactic. If I can get my entire crowd through PR, that's enough for me. Why should I resort to other tactics?
Correct. Correct.
Now, let's look at what is PR. See, for most of the small entrepreneurs, a PR is having a dinner. It begins with a dinner and ends with a dinner. The fact of the matter is, it is not so. Let me look at this slide. Publicity, story placements, testimonials, endorsements, articles, books, speeches, communities are all part of PR and doesn't cost you a damn. The big brands do it 24 bar 7, 365 days. What? 24 bars, 7, 365 days. Publicity. The key is, what is publicity? Getting yourself covered in local newspapers or on radio talks, local radio talks. Free, not by paying. How do you get that free? It's not so easy. You need to create a hook on your brand. You need to create a hook on your product. And who can create the hook? Go to some bloggers, go to some article writers. They will create an interesting element. Gone are the days of the generic press releases. Try and hook. I created 1 million hits today, and the media will be more than willing. They'll run after you to cover it. These are turbo boosters for your brand at no cost, or maybe frugal cost. It frugal, the meaning of the word frugal. We don't use it. Story placement, testimonials. Testimonials, though, yeah, okay, yeah. We will have one or two testimonials with that. Endorsements, get it endorsed by, authorities. Write ebooks. I'm starting a course how to write ebooks. It doesn't cost a damn, and the big brands do it 24 by 7, 365 days, and the small brands here and there.
Correct.
Excellent entry tool. You can start your branding right there as you begin. How to create a hook? It's very easy. Sometimes it could be on the founder's interest. Sometimes it could be based on the customer's usage experience. It cured, something. That's enough. It could have cured just one guy and just make a coverage on that. And that's enough. At least you get the coverage. You can do, if you are an expert on the particular industry, you can do a lot of radio talks. They're all waiting for you because they will use you whenever they want and indirectly get the mileage. Am I clear? Am I all right?
Yes, absolutely great, sir. Absolutely great.
I'm not, getting too much into it. Yes. Now, the next on the list, what? Got it, no? That includes the social media, that includes the website, that includes, hey, come on. Let me convey one very, very interesting concept now. You can write it down. What has this internet done to the small brand? Internet has actually made the small brands to look bigger than they actually are. It has made them look like a life-size figure by virtue of the hype of the internet. Any brand that's advertised on TV earlier days used to get credibility. And similarly, by sheer presence with your website, you are actually more than what you are. And want to hear more? I researched about 100 brands. Their internet, their website, they all have internet. I mean, they're all present in some form or the other on the website. Most of the websites are almost on the verge of extinction. Some of them are dead. Hardly even one hit or one lead from the sources. Money wasted down the drain. Look at big brands. 24 by 7, 365 days. And if you're going to do all this website, the social media and website on your own, it's absolutely zero cost, my friend. Go and take up a course on digital marketing. Is it
Yeah,
costly?
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. On the similar lines, yesterday when I was talking to another guy, he owns a printer in Bangalore, and he says, "Man, due to this low COVID, my business is not running. I wanted to go online." I said, "Good." So I told him, "Man, There are two ways: either you have got a lot of money and give it to an agency, they are going to do the job, or you learn by yourself and start building your brand from day one. Right? So
Even
I
I
think
have been
important.
up in the internet today since I'm there on the internet. Hey, people, Dharmesh is talking on the internet, man. Hey, come on. Use it. Social media is going by leaps and bounds. It's growing by leaps and bounds. You can have your Twitter account on your brand name. You can launch your advert on your Facebook and test it. You can even launch your brand on Google Plus. I'm sure Jayant would be the better guy to advise you on that. Interact with on LinkedIn. Can the small brands do this?
Absolutely.
Did I say anything magical? But are we doing it? And we say it looks like consciously or unconsciously the smaller brands have vacated the internet space for the bigger brands, leading them to a monopoly situation. And the small few brands they're trying to attack are not able to break the clutter. Done. I'm shifting. Shall I?
Sure.
These are some of the write-ups, the Uber or Ola, I think. They encourage the customers to write on their Facebook. They want, as we discussed, they want brand love. I'm going back to some of my initial slides. Everything is interconnected. Blog, I put it separately. Why did I put a separate slide for blog? One simple thing, the Google loves it. The
Absolutely.
moment, what is a blog? You know it. The moment you blog, I'll get somebody to blog for you. The Google loves it, it'll put your number one on the search engine. And nobody can challenge you after that. The Google is a clever tool. So by virtue of simple presence, you are actually bigger than what you actually are or what you actually could be.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, yes. I mean, a common man doesn't know how the things are being happening. For them, if they go on Google and search something, whatever come on top, that's the best.
So they need to use, experts like you, and doesn't cost much money.
Yeah,
Either you want to close your company or you want to keep growing. Because if you don't keep growing, then you again keep coming down. Next, look at the website of a bigger brand. They will connect it with all the buttons possible. They will not spare anything.
true.
And they are on it every second, 24 bars 7, 365 days. They will reply to the tweets. They will reply, thumbs up message. Imagine you sending a thumbs up message on somebody's response. You have earned him for life term. He's become a fan of your company, and that's how you become you get fanfare for your company.
Correct.
Ah, non-traditional media. Yeah, what does not fit into the internet and what does not fit into the conventional is what is non-traditional media. Use it. These are an excellent platform again for small entrepreneurs because you can use this selectively, town by town, area by area.
Correct.
It includes all these billboards, street promotions, special events, word of mouth. What it does is it breaks the clutter. When you break the clutter, the media runs behind you. The local newspaper will run behind. Hey, what's happening? Hey, come on, tell me what's happening. Let me write it down for you. Let's look at that. A three-dimensional billboard. You can have at least one in the town. Forget owning one in the town. Go put small thing, a miniature of this in a small supermarket. What is it? Make a small version of it, perhaps on top of your house or on top of your shop or whatever possible. Or tie up with some small vendors. Hey, come on, give me this space. I want to do it. Don't go with the big hoardings. There's so many ways you can apply. Let me give you another one more. Daring one. Abba. One bus. What is this? The vinyl wrapping. This is equal to 100 billboards, man. Is it costly? Frugal in terms of the response. The media will run after you. Hey, what did you do? Hey, how many buses did you put? You tell them 100 buses, right? The big branch, hey, you put it on 100 buses. Where on earth, how is he going to come and count? The big branch will give it up. Papa, this is no, we can't now fight with them. Endless creation as far as non-traditional media is concerned, and it's get a turbo because it gets covered by the publicity, the newspaper, the radios, including the TV. Sometimes will take you in.
Correct.
If not, it is to their loss.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes.
Flash mobs. What is a flash mob? Some two or three people suddenly they'll jump in front of a huge gathering. They'll do some mockeries and some pop dance and some music. By the time you come to senses, you will realize that's an advertising campaign. They'll be distributing leaflets, distributing samples. They'll be carrying branded t-shirts or whatever. The job is done. It establishes such an interest that the brand's recall goes high. At the point of purchase, it falls in the considered list. Hey, I saw something like that. Let me try that. Especially if it's a consumer brand. Big brands, they take every opportunity to do this. You can do this in a mall, man. Doesn't cost money. I'm skipping. We're short of time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Word of mouth. What's word of mouth? People say, oh, word of mouth is something I buy and then I tell my neighbor. It'll take n number of years by the time it reaches the volume that you want. Word of mouth is product reviews. Get product reviews written intentionally by some experts on your subject. Reviews by buyers, give them a note and ask them to sign. Sometimes they will write it better and give it to you. So let them read it and put it in the social media, especially by virtue of this Facebook. The word of mouth, can be amplified and generate. What does it generate? Brand love. Forget the brand. It's all the same. And the big companies, 24/7, 365 days. Small companies can do too. So my advice to the small entrepreneurs is to judiciously and wisely use it. See, the magic point here is if you invest 1 rupee, especially on this kind of medias, and if you're getting only 1 rupee, then you're on loss. But if you put 1 rupee and then you're getting two, continue.
Absolutely.
And if you're getting 1 rupee and you're getting three in return, then you need to increase from 1 to 2 because there is an opportunity to earn more and more with your investment. These are
Correct.
techniques. Does it involve much cost? Is it beyond the pockets of small entrepreneurs? But the payoffs are phenomenal. And that's how most of the brands are what it is today. I think, yeah, advertising you can do it selectively. Television advertising for that matter, you don't need to get into television. Tie up with cable contractors, the cable TV guys. The reach is almost the same or sometimes it's better. And such and such. So, see, one more message I want to conclude is, when a bigger brand, what they do is they don't carry the campaign in isolation. They employ 2 or 3 tools, marketing arsenals, So they get a ripple effect. There's a roll on effect.
Correct.
So that's what the bigger brands do, which the smaller brands can also easily do it. That's it. You got the message.
Absolutely, yes, absolutely.
Got the
Very,
message.
very interesting.
Is there anything else beyond this? Let me know. There may be one or two which I have missed it or whatever. But this is more than enough for a smaller brand as of now to become whatever they are. And if you want to excel a bigger brand, then we'll talk about it later. And so, what do big brands have that smalls don't have? But you can do all these strategies. On that note, I end my
All right, great. Thank you very
my
much, sir.
webinar. I hope this was useful to all of you, and I also hope, as as committed in the beginning of my webinar, that you can carry this tool instantly and start doing it, start thinking out right now. It doesn't have to wait another minute, and it
Absolutely.
doesn't even need anyone's. If you need someone's advice, use it, but start it off. I'm done, Jayant.
Great. Super. Thank you very
Any
much.
questions?
Let me ask. Guys, if you got any questions, please put in the chat. They'll be
Just
trying
ask
to
me
pick
if you
up.
are there.
Yeah, yeah, certainly, yes. So if you want to speak up, you can speak up, unmute yourself and speak up, please.
Or just write to me so I can answer in the context of your brand or in the context of the situation that you are in. If it helps you, I'm happy. If it helps your family, I'm happy. This is
Great.
not, a webinar leading to a sale.
Not at all. Not at all. No.
That's what happened. They do a
No.
webinar and they say, no, no, you enroll in a program. So instead of 1 lakh, it's only 20,000.
No, no. I don't trust me. I didn't have any kind of
No,
that
no, it's,
intention
it's,
on
it's
my mind.
another tool, man. Come on, there's nothing wrong. It's another tool. As a marketer, you try. I'm just saying. But in this context, yes, it is not so.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Perhaps when you
Absolutely.
start branding on internet, I think the next webinar could be how to do branding on internet.
Absolutely, yes.
Let's see. I'm not immediately.
All right. So let's, I think, wrap up. It's already 12:15, and this is the time what we have cut for this webinar today. And I will try to come back again to you, sir, maybe like with a more elaborated topics or more crucial topic, which I will get from people, whatever problems they are having or where they're getting stuck. So maybe we can take everything into the consideration and we can come out another webinar to the same side.
Wonderful, wonderful, Jayant. Thank you for hosting this webinar. Thank you for initiating this, and especially being a lockdown. I know I'm privileged. I'm more than privileged that I'm able to download my thought to someone else, and if it could help them, I'm pretty happy. It's a give and take, or it's a giving.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. All right. Thanks. So let's say bye bye and see you next time.
Big thumbs up.
Yeah. Thank you, buddies. Bye bye. Take rest.